Hi guys, episode 38. We're here at the Leviathan Pits. And if I said that weird to you, I say it weird to myself. I don't actually know how I prefer to pronounce this. I don't know whether it's Leviathan or Leviathan or what, so yeah. I might swap as we go through, but there you go. We just completed the Gyala Hatchery mission, and now we're here, and we learnt that Master Togo's got a plan. We learnt from Peter that Master Togo's got a plan. To go to the whirlpool, we don't to the Harvest Temple, which is like down here. We don't know why he wants to do that yet, though, and we'll be going into that soon enough. But sort of when you reach this part of the plot, there's loads of suddenly you just get loads of side quests. I'm not going to be doing them all, but there's a few that I really wanted to do specifically here on the Luxon side, because as we all know in Guild Wars 2, the main antagonists are 5 big dragons, elder dragons, and yet through Cantha we've been hearing about dragons all the time. Dragon this, dragon that. It's even called the Empire of the Dragon. And there's a couple of quests around here. We'll be meeting some enemies soon that are also called dragons, and there's a couple of quests dealing with those dragons, and I think it might be nice for us to get a little bit of perspective on the dragons of Guild Wars 1, so that then we can use that information and we'll sort of know how they're different from the elder dragons, if you will. But anyway, that's what we'll be doing, but at the moment we've got full inventory, and I have been reminded several times to use these fortunes because it's been so many episodes. I was actually planning for a little while to put them onto Peter, but I even forgot to do that, so yeah, I'm an idiot. There you go. So let's just quickly sell all of this. I can't even be bothered to sell to the rare traders or anything. Oh, and I accidentally sold those baubles I was going to trade. Whoops. Okay, so these fortunes give us some random party stuff like a sparkler and a champagne popper and a bottle rocket, and we'll probably end up getting a lot more of that stuff. Anyway, we've got 5,000 gold again. I wonder what we can spend that on. There is something quite interesting you can spend money on here. At the pits there is an armor crafter. At least I'm pretty sure there's an armor crafter. Yeah, this guy here, this Mikolus. You remember we spoke to an armor crafter way back up in Cavalon, and he crafted us some armor for 1,000 gold apiece. This guy crafts elite Luxon armor for 15,000 gold apiece. Now, if you haven't watched the previous series, you won't know the difference between elite armor and regular armor. Elite armor in Guild Wars offers no statistical benefits. It literally just looks different and maybe a little bit cooler. But not even in all cases. Sometimes the elite armor, according to your tastes, might look worse than regular armor. And that's specifically because the ArenaNet don't want to lock people into big long gear treadmills. It's not about the grind, it's just about enjoying yourself. So if you really want to show off, then you can spend all the extra money, but you're not going to necessarily be better in battles than someone who doesn't, which is really helpful for PvP. So that's a philosophy I really agree with. I think a lot of people who play this game agree with it, and it's something we'll probably see in Guild Wars 2, so yeah. And you can see this costs a lot more jade for each piece as well. Naturally I haven't got the money for any elite armor, so we won't be buying it. There's also a weapons guy here who crafts you weapons. There's no such thing as elite weapons, but he's interesting because of his name. I said before that a lot of the names and stories and stuff were based on like Greeks, like Greek mythology, and this guy's name, Telamon, I believe that his name, he's got the same name as Zeus's grandson in Greek mythology. So yeah, there you go. Right, so the first quest I want to do is from a boy, a very young man, but I don't know exactly where he is. Before we look for him though, let's read the description. This relatively small but well protected jade mine is deep within Luxon territory and is dominated by a structure built from a mammoth tortoise shell. Some of the most valuable and exquisitely preserved examples of jade fossils have been discovered here, and many can be found within Master Togo's personal collection at the Shinji Library. Alright, okay, so yeah, where's this guy that I wanted to talk to? First side quest. So here's the thing that stood up here. If you own the outpost, you can actually go through this gate and go right out on top of it. And again, this outpost is a little bit like, if you remember the Eridon Terrace, where I said you could glitch back inside by skipping the portal. It's the same deal with this one. If you can skip behind, you can actually go through this gate and go right up there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, where is this guy? Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's up there. I see. And he's stood next to this guy here called Delphinus. Delphinus offers us 2 quests. There's a quest chain. There's 2 quests in this chain. I'm not going to be doing this quest chain. But this whole quest chain is like the reference to some, I don't know, play or something in the real world. You can see there's loads of dialogue. The main reason why I'm not doing this quest is because there's so much dialogue, and really a lot of what it deals with is very inconsequential to Guild Wars 2. There's no real reason for us to do it. But one interesting thing to note about it is that I think somewhere in this description here, yeah, his exploits are celebrated from the far northern kingdoms to the southern places of which you have never even heard. So once again we're getting hints, again we keep finding them, that there is some land, some place much further south than Cantha that we've never even seen. So yeah, that's the only real hint. Most of the quests that we're going to be doing now, by the way guys, both in the Luxon territory and the Kurdic territory, nearly all of them are references to things in the real world. I could spend ages talking about what those references are, but honestly I'll be the first to admit I'm not exactly a very cultured guy, and a lot of the time I don't even know what the references are. So if you do see something and you think, oh I recognise that, or oh that's from a song, or it probably is a very deliberate reference. So anyway, this guy here, Jotaro Musagi. Let's speak to him. He says, I used to be a pirate, but that got pretty old pretty fast. Not nearly enough adventure and way too much gold counting. I decided to join Team Xenos instead. Team Xenos is to do with like this quest. It's just a group of travelling Luxon adventurers who had stories written about them. But these days they're not so popular, I suppose is the best way to put it. So anyway, why it is even more exciting exploring the Jade Sea than it is sailing over the liquid one. The only thing I'm worried about is my mother. She is sure to be getting worried about me. I've written a letter for her, but I do not have the time to deliver it. Perhaps you could help me. If you could deliver this letter to Arani aboard the Halcyon, I'm certain she would see to it that it gets back to my mother on Xingji Island. I trust Arani. She was, well, let us just say that I trust her, and leave it at that. I'll deliver that letter home for you. So this guy, do you remember when we went to Zendaijan and I said that if I failed the mission I'd go back out around the lake because there were lots of interesting quests to do there. Now one of those quests was about a woman, and you speak to this woman and she's like, oh my son, he's been captured by the Crimson Skull, please go save him. And you go to try and save him and it's a really hard quest. You kill loads of Crimson Skull. If you remember, those are the pirates from back on Xingji Island. And when you finally get to him he says, oh please don't tell my mother, but I actually didn't get kidnapped by these guys. I ran away. I want to be a pirate. I want to have a life of adventure. And that kid was Jotaro. So now we find him here a long time later. I love adventuring. I gave up my life as a Crimson Skull to travel abroad to explore the Jade Sea. So now we see him again and he's given up as a Crimson Skull, and it's quite cool how he just sort of pops up again later on in the plot. And in fact, later on when we get to Nightfall and Eye of the North and further along, we might just be seeing him again. So this was a big reason why I wanted to do the quest, and also due to the fact it's really easy. You just come back out to the Halcyon, go up to the second floor that we went to see before and give the letter over. So yeah, let's get our henchman. Now you can see there's loads of outcasts here, but apparently if you wait, a lot of them will run off and you only have to fight one group. Ah, screw it, I'll fight them all. Kill them all! In fact, I'm just going to leave my team here and try and run through. Okay, so here she is, Arani. A letter from Jotaro for his mother. I can use my contacts to make certain the letter reaches her. Jotaro was such a sweet boy, a good client too, all things considered. Thank you for helping him. Probably the easiest 1000 Luxon faction you can get in this game, and funnily enough, you can't get it until after the 10,000 quest. So let's go back to the pits. Alright, so let's get the first of two quests about these first of three quests actually, about these Canthan dragons. I want to speak to a guy called this guy here, Churimachus. I have a bit of a problem and I wonder if you could help me. Let me introduce myself. I am Churimachus. I'm going to stick with Churimachus. Yes, that Churimachus, known by many on the Jade Sea as the Dragon Hunter. I've been studying the dragons of the Jade Sea since the day I could walk. People might think they're dangerous and bloodthirsty, but I just love the little beauties. And fascinating? You bet. For example, dragons are excellent parents, which contradicts the classical depictions of these magnificent creatures. They are incredibly protective of their eggs, particularly the salt spray varieties that live out in silent surf. That's where I could use your help. If you could get me close to a clutch of salt spray dragon eggs, perhaps even offer something of a distraction, I'm sure I could gather one using extreme caution. Just meet me out in the silent surf and we can get to hunting. I'll see you at the rendezvous point. Find another piece of dragon bait, friend. So yeah, it does sound a bit risky, doesn't it? But it's a pretty good little quest. And it will also, well, it won't take us to another outpost, but it will take us very near to one, which I'll hopefully go into. So that's back out into the Gyala Hatchery, which we'll be going to soon enough. There's one quite interesting thing I want to see there, and one quest. But for now, let's go further into the Jade Sea. Now, this is actually my favourite Jade Sea outpost we're going to. It's the closest thing to my vision of a big open sea with just the waves that you can walk over. So yeah, this is the silent surf, everyone. Alright, so you can see that we've also got another pet now. One of the rangers that we've got, it's got a pet called Hector, which is pretty cool. I do believe it's Aurora's pet, but I can't be 100% sure. So Chirimicus says, you go ahead and lead the way, I'll follow you. When we get near the eggs, I'll take over. Trust me. Alright, I do trust you. So this is like one of the small islands of land that we're going to be crossing over, and once we get off of this, we sail out onto the sea. Go past all this scaffolding, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's loads of Afflicted here, so the Afflicted are sort of being thrown into the big mess of all the different enemies we'll be fighting here. This explorable area has probably got one of the richest varieties of enemies you can encounter in any place in most of the game. It's got one of the highest amounts of elite skills you can capture in all of factions. The only other place that's got the same amount is a place in the Echo Valley Forest that we'll be seeing later. But yeah, here you've got the Outcasts, the Afflicted, the Oni, loads of different types of fish, just all kinds of stuff. And a lot of them are hostile to each other. A lot of the time, if you just sit by and watch the waves, you'll see there's a whole bunch of enemies that just decide that they're going to try and kill each other, making it a very crowded place. But if you just take your time, then half the time they clear paths themselves for you. Go for the belly, Hector. That's where the juicy bits are. So yeah, it's definitely Aurora whose pet it is. So here we go, out on the sea. It's pretty awesome around here. You've got to be careful though, because the Outcasts love to run around. You can even see they've got a boss there, Amidst, Wind of the Sea. There's some bone snap turtles here. Just over there. I think we've got to go through this archway and then head south. Yeah, we definitely do. But first, before we do that, there's... Actually, no, we'll go there later. Big group of fish to take out. Now, these fish, of course, were regular fish that used to swim in the sea, but they were corrupted by the Jade Wind, just like so many other things, and now they're just horrible monsters bent on destruction. Alright, so you can see the starburst is down here, and we're mostly just go unimpeded now. Not until that island all the way down there, that's that island. We can just keep on going. Gotta be careful of these patrolling fish though, of course. Keep an eye out, but yeah, it's brilliant. Just get to watch the open waves. And there's a quarry down there. Okay, so here we are. And these are the salt spray dragons. You can see they've got kind of a bit of a crazy animation. So he says there's a nice clutch of eggs. Follow me and watch out for those dragons. They're looking a bit agitated. Where are the eggs? I can't see any eggs. Oh shit, he's going in there. Oh no, they're trying to kill him. No, 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 don't kill him. Whoa, there's all the eggs. There's loads of them. He's okay, he's got one. Cool. So we just got to try and take these things out. They're all elementalists. They all hit really, really, really big loads of damage. Alright, well he's off. He's running away. We should probably go keep up with him, shouldn't we? Oh, there we go. Okay, he's just ran off to deliver the egg. We can go back up to the pits to accept our reward. That's that quest done. But on our way back, since we've cleared the way, there's a little outpost just about halfway up near this resurrection shrine, so we'll quickly nip up there. Okay, so here we are. There's a collector here. Might as well talk to him. Back when people still sailed across the seas, my vessel was set upon by a group of dangerous salt spray dragons. We barely escaped with our lives, though one feisty bugger clamped down hard on my leg until I beat him senseless with an oar. It burns like a fire on cold days, but at least I can walk on my own. It was on that day I vowed revenge on the salt spray dragons for this wretched scar. Venture off and bring me 4 of their crests, and you shall be rewarded with XXX. Not quite sure what he's talking about there when he says back when people still sailed the seas. He could be meaning the northern seas, because for a long time Cantha and the rest of the world was sealed off until just a few years ago in the game world, so he could be meaning these seas. And before then, perhaps, I don't know. Clearly he doesn't mean these seas. I mean, they've turned to jade, unless he's immortal. Maybe he is. Okay, so anyway, this is the Seafarer's Rest. It's a nice little outpost. Completely optional. The main quest just takes you straight through, so some people do miss this. Let's read it. It says, this was once a quiet destination for the Luxon elite. Seafarer's Rest now serves as a mere resting stop for weary travellers meandering across the Jade Sea. The wealthy sat perched atop towering rock structures, with every need attended to by a staff of attentive servants. Those who currently inhabit this outpost subsist on funds from odd jobs and mercenary work, though some say Seafarer's Rest will one day return to its former stature. So I guess these are the rocks here. Pretty cool, nice little bit of history. Now there's a quest here and some people I want to talk to, but we'll do that later. Let's go back up to the pits. Okay, and let's speak to this guy. You got your egg. He says, that egg's one beauty of a specimen. Thank you all for your help. This is definitely the ultimate study aid, eh? So that quest kind of teaches us one big way these dragons are different from the elder dragons. And that's that the elder dragons don't really seem to have a real thought process. They don't seem to, you know, scheme or think about things. While these salt spray dragons do seem to have some measure of intelligence, at least from what we can see, because, you know, they're protective of their young. And while the elder dragons, they might, you know, be intelligent, they might think, but so far all we've really seen is that they just hunger for power and destruction, I guess. A lot of people kind of compare the way that the elder dragons think and move to being kind of like hurricanes, in that they've kind of got this hole in them that they're desperately trying to fill, but they're trying to fill it by destroying things around them. But the more that they destroy, the worse they feel, or, you know, something like that. So yeah, that's one big difference, how these Canthan dragons, you know, other than just the size, considering how big the elder ones are compared to these, but that's just one main difference between them. Okay, so let's do another quest about these dragons. This second one I want to do is called If It Weren't for Bad Luck, and it's from this guy, whose name is Infortunatos Maxellus. Well met, hero. I was once something of a hero myself. A Luxon deep ranger of the Serpent clan. From the Echovale to the Jade Sea I wandered, seeking creatures and seeking treasure and adventure. My caravan was never poor, and gold was always near at hand. Then one day I spotted a drake, so I ordered my men to attack it and to take one of those glittering scales as a trophy. I was sure it would make me a bit of gold, and thought nothing of it. Until the bad luck set in. My men died at the hands of Kurzik raiders, who left me alive to tell the tale. All of my trade agreements fell apart for one reason or another. My home was overrun with Naga. My wife left me for a stronger Luxon, and now my last coin has just been stolen by cut-rate thieves. I can only surmise that it was no drake at all. It must have been Albax, the legendary salt spray dragon of good fortune. His ill will is the only explanation for this turn of events. As you can see, I still wear this shimmering scale necklace around my neck. I had hoped it would bring me luck, but all the luck it's brought me has been bad. Help out an old man, would you, Tom? I don't have the strength to track down Albax anymore, but maybe if you returned this necklace to him, my bad luck would finally change. Last I heard, he was out in the silent surf. The Albax? How can I refuse? So whether this dragon that we're about to see actually does grant people good luck or bad luck is a bit up for debate. Maybe it's just the the Canthan's beliefs. As we all know, they're kind of based on sort of the Chinese, and they have all these big kind of beliefs about luck. Maybe that's just sort of being translated here into the Canthan culture, or maybe Albax really does actually have some kind of way to affect your fortune. So that area there is called the Rhea's Crater, which we will be going in soon. Rhea's Crater could be named after Elder Rhea, don't know, maybe. But yeah, Albax isn't too far if we go to him from here, so it's always worth unlocking this outpost. Back out into the Silent Surf, and before I forget, let's have some of these fortunes. Oh, that nectar looks pretty nice. Okay, so we used one, what did it say? It said we will have a prosperous new year. It didn't boost our attributes though. Something special is in our future. We will have a prosperous new year. Come on, boost my attributes. Boost my attributes. There we go. And we got loads. Oh wow, look at that. 5 champagne poppers. Okay, now those fortunes can do other things. They can make you go insane and you start speaking about just random crap. And if that happens, then I'll start reading it out. It's usually quite funny, but also some of the stuff you start talking about can be... Oh, we're just going past here. We're going across the ocean. Some of the stuff you talk about has relevance to later campaigns, which is quite nice. So yeah, hopefully the fish won't get us. Albax isn't too far. You can see he's just behind this little island here. And you can see these huge waves here that have been kicked up. If you don't read the descriptions in the episodes, you might have missed this. But essentially, these waves, you might have been looking at these waves and thinking, well, why the hell are all these huge waves? And it's because the idea is that in the moment after Shiro died and his death wail came out, it sent a shockwave through the Jade Sea, which sort of kicked up the seas, and it created all of these huge tidal waves literally everywhere. And then, before any of them could even crash, a second wave burst through, and that was the wave that turned everything to stone and petrified everything. So that's why we see sort of such rough seas all over the place. It's not because the Jade Sea was some ridiculously dangerous sea where there were always storms or anything like that. It's because of the whale. That's why this has happened. Oh, look, there's what I was talking about before. You can see some outcasts fighting some fish over there. If we can keep away, then maybe I won't have to fight them myself. And more of them fighting each other. You can see Albax just up there. Albax is actually an allied dragon. A lot of these dragons were allies before, but when the Jade Sea came, they too, just like these fish, and look at those Leviathan eyes, I love those things, were corrupted. So let's speak to it. Albax. Good luck to you, says Albax, if it weren't for bad luck. You are bold to approach me thus, Tom Bluewood. Most of my kin were corrupted by the Jade Wind 200 years ago. Yet only I remain, the sole living incarnation of good fortune in all the land, and I will not harm you. I thank you for the return of this scale. Your courage inspires me, even my ancient heart. You may return to Infortunus Maxellus, and tell him that I have lifted my curse, but he should not take my disfavour again. So it would appear that Albax maybe did put a curse on him. So yeah, and yeah, so this is, I like this quest here because it talks about, whoa, I really love the way those things look. I like this quest because it talks about how before the Jade Wind, Cantha was full of these dragons, and they used to get on with the Canthans, and they weren't corrupted, they weren't all bad, they were just like Albax. But of course, like so many other things, the Jade Wind changed everything. So, Infortunus, I think my cough is getting better, and... Why? Is that a gold piece in my pocket? I thought I was broke. Thank you, Tom. I do believe my luck has returned. From now on, you can call me Fortunus Maxellus. Okay. Alright, and we got a skill point. So, those were 2 of the quests that I wanted to do here. There's a third I want to do about the dragons, which we can get from a guy here at Seafarer's Rest. There's also a collector here who we can talk to. The guy is this Great Reaver Rixor. That's the quest we're going to be getting. Anyway, here's the collector, Farer. He says, there are many legends among our people of the Salt Spray Dragon. One tells of a time ages ago when a dragon king made a pact with a shipwrecked captain. In exchange for wind and guidance, the captain guaranteed that no Luxon would cause harm to a Salt Spray Dragon. To do so would bring terrible luck. That was, of course, before dragons were driven mad by the Jade Wind. These days we use their crests as good luck charms, so it can still be said that the luck of a dragon is with us. If you're feeling lucky yourself, bring me 5 of their crests. So, I think he's probably, of all the collectors in the game, he's got some of the more interesting stuff to talk about. So yeah, Great Reaver Rixor, hello. One of my crew found this thing while we were reaving a rich deposit of jade. If you remember, the Reavers are the names of the Luxons who can actually extract the magical and the good jade, and those are the people, but they're basically miners. It was deep, really deep. I thought it was valuable, and no doubt it is valuable. But look at this part, a message. Deep as it was, it must have ended up in the sea more than 200 years ago. The only spot of actual land nearby is a small island in the Gyala Hatchery. A little spot of dirt so insignificant we've never bothered to go out there. I certainly can't read it, that's for sure. Maybe it's a treasure map, a plea for help. I sure would be interested to learn who it belonged to. It could increase the value tenfold if it turns out to be some famous historical figure. It may even have been Archimedes himself. Will you search for this mysterious island near Gyala Hatchery and tell me what you find out about this message? Sounds intriguing, I'm on the case. Okay, so let's go back up to the pits, and this is going to take us out to the Gyala Hatchery. So we're going to be going on a little bit of a treasure hunt now. And you can see now we can move under this thing. This is where the mission ended, of course. We can now move underneath it. And lots of Luxons fighting Outcast. This is quite a long trip, and I don't want the episode to get too bloated, so I'll speed most of this up, everyone. Whoa, check it out, look at all the fish. I do not want to get too close to them. Oh crap. No. I'm running for it, There's a resurrection shrine near here, hopefully I can get to it. Go, 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 go. It's just through this gate, I know it is. This gate during the mission we were on before was shut, so you couldn't get through here. But now that we're back here as an explorable area, we can get through. And there's a resurrection shrine here, and there's a pretty cool thing just round here on the left. I wonder how many of my party survived. Oh, quite a few of us actually. Okay, so this place, there's literally nothing else to do here except for to look at what is here. And this is an old quarry, but if you look, there's real water here. There's actual water is starting to come back. I believe this is probably another sign of how life, you know how life was returning back to the Echo Vowed Forest? Well, we can see slowly this jade is turning back to water. Now you could say, oh, maybe this is just rainwater, which is a perfectly valid point, but you never see rainwater anywhere else like this. So yeah, pretty cool. And also, there's also this giant jellyfish in here, encased in the jade. Obviously the miners found it. Pretty cool. You can even come right out on top of it, that's awesome. So yeah, and the Reavers have obviously just left it here on display. Just a hidden little place, no enemies to fight here, no quests ever take you here. It's just for those who are a little bit curious and want to look around. Then they will be rewarded with a pretty cool sight, I'd say. So yeah, let's get back on track. Let's find this island. So there's a load of Naga here hanging out with those Leviathan claws. I love the Leviathans, they just look so awesome. Some of the most unique character designs I've ever seen. I mean for common enemies, obviously. So here's the island. A little inconsequential spit of land. And there are some Naga up here. Yeah, lots of Naga. And there's a character here, Samu Kolreg. Hello. And through the drifts of the wailing shifts did send a dismal scream, nor shapes of men nor beasts we ken. The jade was all between. The jade was here, the jade was there. The jade. Are you listening to me? Message on a dragon scale. And now the salt spray dragon came, and he was tyrannous and strong. He struck with his overtaking wings, and bid me to come along. The fearsome, why do you look at me so? Mayhap my way of speaking troubles thee? Very well, I shall wait. Thou'st carry, that is, you carry one of my messages. Long ago I was stranded here after a shipwreck. I remember almost nothing, except a seabird of some kind, and a dragon? Yes, a dragon. She would not rescue me, but she gave me a means to escape on my own. She left 4 of her scales and bid me to inscribe them with messages and hurl them into the sea. The dragon granted me immortality, so that I may await their return, but at the cost of all other memory. Though the seas are no longer liquid, I cannot leave this island until I have all 4 messages. For if I do not regain the scales, I will die the moment my feet leave this sand. But you have brought me the first message back, the first after many, many years of waiting. Now I can return to my vigil, heartened by the possibilities of more messages to come. Day after day after day, I wait no breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Okay, so that's that quest complete. We can go see Great Reaver Rixor. This guy's a bit of a mystery, and if you speak to him again, he's got a new quest for us. Yeah, shiny things did crawl with legs upon the shiny sea, about in reel and rout. Oh, hello, dost I know thou? That you look familiar. Are you perhaps the one who brought me this message? Did you find any more? If all 4 messages return to me, I may leave this island at last. They are written on dragon scales like this one, tucked into magic bottles, hidden somewhere in the silent surf, the archipelago and Maishang Hills. Would you help me find these messages? Aye, it be an easy task, says I. Okay, so let's go speak to Reaver Rimox and tell him what's going on. A guy granted immortality by a dragon, but bound to a single island until all 4 of the scales were returned. And yes, that is, again, all of these quests, like I said, they're all references to things in the real world. So, here you go, it wasn't anyone famous, sorry Rixor. He chose to stay there, well, it's his ship to sail, as the saying goes. An intriguing story, though. I wonder what would happen if someone found all 4 of those messages. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But, we're going to do it in the next episode, guys. Next episode, we're going to do that quest. We're going to go to one more place, there's one more outpost I want to go to. And that's through Ria's crater, and then we're going to continue with the plot. So yeah, I'll see you next time, everyone.